Welcome to the Gibberfish Podcast.
Well, we may be beset by the most tragic news of 2020 yet, but we're here to talk Gibberfish, aren't we, Dom?
Yep, back again. What's the tragic news?
We come to you just a mere hour after announced by YouTube that they will not be doing a YouTube rewind for 2020. They feel it's not appropriate.
How will we fucking live?
We'll just go back and watch
How
the previous
will we
ones.
live?
I think we could get a watch party going. Just like 20 people who all enjoy general internet meme culture and just go back and see just how fucked up these things have been for the last few years. Especially, but you know what we can do? We can play the game, Can You Name That Person? And I guarantee you never fucking can.
Even when they first did YouTube Rewind and everybody that you knew was in there, I'm pretty sure Phil DeFranco was in there, you had some of the SourceFed guys in there. I still couldn't name anybody.
Philly D only made it through on, it wasn't 2019, it was like the 2018 year. He only just got it then. He's never been invited until then. That was a crazy part. I'm like, really? You're not going to bring Philly D in? But no, apparently there's always some YouTube drama, like some behind the scenes management nonsense, and he never makes the cut for some reason, despite being a consistent part of most people's lives. But I'd be surprised if he didn't. Like, if there was going to be one, he must have made it.
You've got to imagine that Philly D, being probably the biggest news-based YouTuber, would get at least a spot. But nah.
Yeah, I think he just says too much controversial shit. I think he just talks too much about stuff that you basically don't monetize. And because the way I've heard YouTube Rewind described is it's the ad reel they sell to ad agents. So they say, look at all these fun, happy, friendly young people that are just being, sexy and young and not controversial, and you can put your Pepsi ad on here. And I don't think you can put that on Philly D's brand. I just don't think it works together.
Yeah, you definitely can't sell Happy Meals off the back of "What's up, you beautiful bastards."
Sup, you beautiful bastards. Let's talk about child molesters being caught in Nevada. You can't really do that thing. It doesn't pair well. It's a bad mix. But yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I hate that tagline.
What one?
Fucking hate it. That "Sup, you beautiful bastards." Because I watched Philly D when he was trying to introduce that. And it was just everyone going, like, stop trying to make this happen. Just stop it.
What was it before?
And now he's plastering it on t-shirts and
oh yeah, it's never was entirely
and
branding thing. But what was it? He had something before, didn't he?
I think it was just "Let's just get in it," which I thought was pretty good.
He still does the let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, I like that. You don't need to add "Sup, you beautiful bastard." You're just trying too hard, man.
I like it because it guarantees with the way that this thing is. Some people on YouTube seem to think that the swearing within the first minute demonetizes the video or guarantees it to be suppressed. So Philly D is just shooting himself in the cock every single video. But that's the thing, is nobody actually really knows the secret workings behind YouTube. Allegedly, that's the way it works, is that no one person knows it all, which seems silly, but it does mean that nobody can leak it out and then people can just gamify their content to try and appease the algorithm. But that's what people do anyway, so it's not worked out.
See,
quite
the way you phrased that there, it does kind of sound like there's some kind of weird technical monster that's in charge of YouTube, and they just don't want anybody to know. They just occasionally bring in some fresh YouTubers to feed it.
That explains a lot.
No one knows how the YouTube machine works. It just works. We just lose a couple of young'uns every year.
Every now and again, somebody walks in with an often popping vlogging channel, and all of a sudden they disappear. You never see them again. We don't ask questions. We just continue to ignore the screaming.
YouTube's a mind flayer.
Straight to the D&D book.
It indoctrinates older people that can bring in younger people, and then it takes their brains. I'm onto you, YouTube. I'm not using your platform anymore. Fuck you. I don't want my mind flayed. I don't want brain scramblies.
Well, if you're not going to do YouTube, you've recently had your first experience with Twitch, and that was with me and Jamie from Badger and Pals last night. How was that?
Yeah, I actually quite enjoyed myself. If more than just getting to play Left 4 Dead 2 again, actually, trying to take a slice of what we do here on the show and putting it out in another format with Left 4 Dead being played, but us as raptors in the background, was a pretty cool way to do it.
Yeah. There is, for the record, a Twitch TV channel that I've registered under the Gibberpish name. It is out there. It has never done anything. So if we want it, we've got it. I just ran it and grabbed it. So you can add that to our media empire, including the occasional tweets. But yeah, other than that, what was you were on when I was playing Left 4 Dead, and the Raptor mod was, I find the Raptor mod adorable. It's just something a community member made and just threw it into the mix on Steam. Best part is, I don't know if you noticed this, the tails actually work.
Yeah,
Like the tails have momentum.
I noticed that the tails were animated.
Yeah, the only thing that we could find that kind of broke it for us was when you put on a med kit, like you wrap the plaster or the bandage around your arm, and the raptor arm is about a tenth the size of a normal human arm for the game models. So it's just you hovering with a med kit over your arm. But that's the only time I found that raptor mod to be kind of janky, and even then,
I noticed one other thing is when you inject the what is it, the
adrenaline shot.
Adrenaline shot, yeah. When you take that out, you usually shoot it into your side. You just kind of completely miss and stab it into the air behind you.
Oh, nice. I I took an adrenaline shot, but I didn't see anyone else take it. I was like, I need to check that out. It's a fun game. I've missed going back to the not classics, but the close to classics.
Yeah, and I think that's given that there's fuck all coming out right now. That's what I find myself doing. Occasionally I'll pick up a new indie game that I want to play. Like that. I'm playing a game right now called Blasphemous. It's the latest in a very, very long list of pixel art games, but this it's very, very difficult. It's kind of it's your typical Dark Souls lore. You've got the penitent one, and you've got the Church of Mercy and all this shit, and he has to upgrade his sword called the Mea Culpa by stabbing goats or something. It's just very Dark Souls lore, but it's a very fun game. But apart from that, I just find myself going back to old games. I recently finished Spider-Man for the PS4. It's a fucking good game.
All right. Are you? Obviously, we'll talk about consoles in a bit, but obviously the re-release for the PS5 is the Miles Morales edition, which is
that's got the Miles Morales story with the remaster of the PS4 version, and a lot of people aren't happy because they changed Peter Parker's face.
I did see that one.
I personally don't really care.
I saw it. And it just looks like a higher resolution. They've just went back and remodeled them, and it's not that bad. What I've been seeing the comparison.
Well, it is a totally different face, though. It is a totally different face actor.
I guess if you bought someone in to do the first one, and all of a sudden you say, no, we're going to remaster it, and they're like, I can't travel across the country in coronavirus to do a modeling job for you guys.
I've heard a few different reasons as to why they did that. One, that it was the voice actors' mouth movements didn't sync up to the old face or the face capture model correctly, so that's why they redid it. Another one is that they wanted them to look younger. Another one is that they wanted to get an actor that looked a bit more like Tom Holland. And for whatever reason they had, there's nothing catastrophically wrong with the game anymore. They've just changed a couple of little things. The only thing that I find slightly weird is that this new version of Peter Parker now looks like MJ's younger brother, and that is just weird.
But the problem is, Dom, you don't understand. They've changed something.
Not Michael Jackson, Mary Jane.
Oh my God.
Mary Jane Watson, not Michael Jackson, the suspected, kid diddler.
I got really confused because I'm like, I didn't actually put the Michael Jackson thing together. Like, he's now just out of my brain, and I quite like it that way. With the exception of the odd occasional South Park episode where he shows up and does the hee thing and then disappears again. That's the only time I come across Michael Jackson in the wild. Actually, I was going to ask you about this because as far as new gaming content is going, I basically haven't touched anything either. I think the only new game I've played this year is Carrion, which is
I got bored of Carrion after an hour and a half.
I could see I haven't actually put the hour and a half into it yet to get bored, but I can see where I'm going to enjoy this game, and I can see where it's going to frustrate the shit out of me. I've put it back on my hard drive. I'm going to play it for a little bit longer, and I'll see how I get on with it. But that might actually be the only 2020 game I've played. So that leads us to a problem in that you and I would like to do a best of 2020 with the same rules as last year.
What all happened?
Well, the thing is, I went back to re-listen to our best of 2019, and that we hit the hilarious problem of us saying 2019 is such a horrible year. I can't believe how bad 2019 is. Holy fuck. I would suck a dick to go back to 2019 right now. I would go back in time. I'd take it all in.
When you text me that, my reply, it still stands. I mean, every single word of my reply. I would kick the living shit out of a nun to go back to 2019. Just fuck it to Sister Mary Francis. Just punch fuck out.
I mean, the best thing that's happened in 2020 is System of a Down came back to release a few songs to promote awareness of a genocide going on in the Arkats region of Armenia, and that's about as good as 2020 got, and that's a shame. That's a real indictment on 2020. But yeah, when we're looking at it, I think we came up with a rule of it had to come out or we had to see it in 2020 for it to qualify, and I think we might just need to have our favorite thing we did or watched or whatever in 2020 and just ignore when it came out. Because yeah, I can't see anything like I went looking for best movies yesterday or highest grossing movies of 2020. Top film's a Chinese film actually called The 800 Men or The 800, which is about 800 soldiers trapped in a weapons factory during the Japanese invasion of China. Interesting, but it basically didn't release in the UK, earned like 19 grand, and that's about it. And then it went back. But over there, it's the top grossing film of the year because it raised 800 million domestically or something like that. Fucking insane numbers.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
But yeah, I mean, we joked about this. I think it was a text back and forth about the idea that Sonic might be the biggest superhero movie of the year somehow.
Oh yeah, it is, because no Marvel movies came out, and Sonic is technically classed as a superhero movie for the purposes of certification or some shit like that. It's the highest grossing superhero movie of 2020,
which is hilarious.
Which is a weird sentence.
Yeah, I'm all for it. It's so funny that the meme becomes like it just ascends to another level once you realize what's going on with like its box office compared to everything else that came out. Tenet apparently did okay. I didn't realize it was. I heard the initial week was quite bad. Like the weekend blockbuster numbers were not great, but it seems to have worked its way.
I think
back.
It got something like of its budget of 150 million. It made back 17.7 million.
On the
it did not do well, but that's because no one was safely going to the cinema.
It's like, look, I like David Tennant, but I'll wait for it on Blu-ray. And his response was, no, you need to see it in cinemas. It's like, no, buddy, I'm just not going out. Fuck this. I'm not catching this
David Tennant in a movie?
Not David Tennant. Christopher Nolan.
Yeah.
My bad. I keep
the movie Tenet.
Yeah, movie Tenet by Christopher Nolan. Yeah.
I've heard by all accounts it's a damn fine film, but I'm not risking going in an unair conditioned breath box to watch a film.
Yeah. I think we need to look at how we're doing best of 2020 because it's going to have a few asterisks on it. And we just need to. Oh, and again, we're not doing a worst of because this year's already pretty negative. I don't think it does.
Let's try and keep it. Let's keep it happy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Just off the top of my head, the only new and good game that I've played this year would probably be Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2. Even at that, it's not a new game. There's no brand new games that I've played this year.
It's a remake of a game that came out like 20 years ago. I'm afraid to look that up, actually. I don't want to look it up. I'm going to be terrified. I was looking at what we've spent a lot of the year on, and other than just, watching random old movies and collecting like subscription services, I looked at it.
For me, it's writing an ever-growing and wildly growing D&D story, because it started off as a fairly concise story, and then time breeds boredom, so you just want to start writing more and more and adding things to it, and you get different ideas, and all of a sudden you want to put Cthulhu in there, and then Cthulhu has to have a mecha version, then that mecha version has to have a child, and then all of a sudden you're fighting 4 Cthulhus dressed as Godzillas, and they all pilot Gundams, and everyone's looking at you going, why are you making this campaign so hard?
It wasn't supposed to be hard, I was just bored. Okay, get over it.
I mean, if you beat it, you insta level 20. Come on.
Oh, definitely. I mean, is that still the cap for most D&D things these days? It's still level 20?
Level 20 per class. It's weird. Your character doesn't level up. It levels up classes. So you could get level 20, just say Barbarian, then go another 20 levels in Monk, and basically become a Super Saiyan.
That's interesting. It makes a lot of sense. But I'm so used to like seeing you have a character that's level blah, and it's like 5 levels of this class, then 5 levels of that class, then 10 levels of the base class. Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty much how it is, except the base class is just civilian, unequipped to do anything. So you can have, player character Bumbleshoot the 5th, and he can have 5 levels in Bard, and then he could have another 15 levels in Barbarian. I'm sticking with Barbarians today, I don't know why. But then you can max out the other 2 classes, so you can be a level 20 Barbarian and level 20 Bard and be probably the most OP thing on the board at the time.
Oh, actually, that reminds me. Just thinking of like things we need to talk about. We were very bad at housekeeping. Normally we'll say, oh, we keep an eye on this story and we'll come back to you when we get a development. And we actually have a development on one of them. Way back, we talked about Billy Mitchell's lawsuit over the King of Kong records. So he had Donkey Kong high score, and it was being officiated by a company called Twin Galaxies, who said that he wasn't doing the game on the correct version of it, being that there's an arcade version and an emulator version. They think he was doing the emulator version, despite the fact Billy Mitchell apparently had an official Nintendo representative and numerous witnesses at his record-setting event, where he videotaped it and then sent the videotape to Twin Galaxies and Guinness Book of World Records. So he has been stricken from the record, or he was stricken from the record a while back, and he has been demanding to be put back in place because it's part of his PR. He sells himself as being one of the greatest gamers to ever live, and that he should be restored to his title so that it doesn't damage his brand, because apparently he sells hot sauce now. I don't know.
All right. On the back of his Donkey Kong record?
Yeah, apparently owns a restaurant as well, which I guess, gotta make money somehow. And I don't exactly see this guy whipping out the Fortnite gamer, big gamer moments. So yeah, I guess you run a restaurant and make hot sauce. But he's been basically fighting these guys in court. Twin Galaxies put in a anti-slap motion into court, saying that Billy Mitchell's basically trying to stop them from expressing themselves and publicly participating in the defence, or publicly participating in discussion of a public figure. And the court has said that Billy Mitchell is a public figure in the gaming community, and that Twin Galaxies was discussing a controversial public interest to the community. However, the lawsuit's still going forward. The only difference is that now that Billy Mitchell's been referenced as or recognised as a public person, he needs to prove that Twin Galaxies was being actually malicious when they made the statements that he'd been cheating, which is actually pretty good for them, or pretty good for Billy Mitchell, because there is evidence to suggest that Twin Galaxies didn't interview multiple people who were there as witnesses. They just took the video, said, nah, you cheated, and then fucked it in the bin. So that case will actually go forward, which is it's interesting. It's going to be very funny to see a judge try and get his head around why people give a shit about Donkey Kong records. I just want to be the person that tries to explain the technicalities between the different... I think it's, AIM emulator? I think it might be AIM emulator and the actual arcade version.
MAME emulator.
MAME, there
multi-arcade media, blah, blah, blah. Something.
Yeah, it's basically, we're not making an arcade board for this, but we got it on a USB stick.
Yeah. We're using computers. They make more sense than arcade boards nowadays anyway.
Yeah, I'd be surprised. I mean, I'm pretty sure you could go and buy an original arcade cabinet, but I'd hate to see the price tag. Or I could legitimately...
You'd be surprised, actually. You would genuinely be surprised. Arcade cabinets, especially in the UK, don't go for that much.
I guess we don't have that much of an arcade culture, so maybe there's not as much demand for it nowadays.
Yeah. I mean, I genuinely looked into one because even to this day, I'm still obsessed with the Jurassic Park arcade game where you sat in the Jeep. The arcade cabinet had curtains and stuff going around it, and you sat in the Jeep from Jurassic Park 1, and you had to shoot. It was an on-rail shooter, and you had to shoot, velociraptors that were chasing after you. One of the boss fights is you were driving. Somebody was driving, you were hanging out the back of the Jeep just shooting this T-Rex. It was the best way to spend 50 pence pieces that young Dom Anderson could find. And if I could find this arcade cabinet, I'd never leave the house. Never fucking leave the house. And I thought one day, surely these are out of production, or these are out of circulation. People might be selling them. And I think I genuinely found one that could be in working order. It was in somewhere in Wales or something like that for about 500. I thought I could.
You get the point where you're like, it's a bit absurd, but it is my childhood.
But at the same time, it's the single greatest on-rails arcade experience of all time.
A big fan of Time Crisis, so I will say or not, House of the Dead. So yeah, I would actually say if you could get me a game like that with a light gun that doesn't suck ass, I would probably go for it.
Yeah, I love all those fucking light gun games. I'm actually digging out my Wii U at some point after I finish my exams so that I can replay the light gun Resident Evil games again,
All right.
because those games are just fun. The first one's really fun. The second one is shaky. It's like someone has Parkinson's holding the camera.
We had a PS2 version of a light gun or whatever the hell it was, and you just plug it into the like the controller port for a PS2 controller, and you had to, because it was supposed to be the same as Time Crisis. You had to have like a little button underneath to simulate when you would go into cover and reload and stuff like that, and it was actually where the clip of a pistol would be. So you just had to have like massive hands, but like we're 10 at the time, so there's like all of us just try to like use the trigger and the shuttle at the same time. I was so bad. It was brilliant though. Like yeah, I'm so gutted that I never kept that around. Should have kept it.
Yeah, I remember all those light gun peripherals that you used to get.
The worst one was the Wii actually called it the light gun, didn't they? Did the Wii not actually call it the light gun?
The Wii called it the Nintendo Zapper.
Oh,
it had to be different. I remember the coolest one that I ever played. Someone that I think both of us have known for a while, but I think I've known since I was about 3 years old. He had one of the original Xboxes, and he had, I think it was Silent Scope for the original Xbox, and this thing came with a multi-part, you had to build it yourself, sniper rifle.
right.
And this thing was cool as shit. You could break it down, and it could be a pistol to play Time Crisis. You could build it up again. It could be like Silent Scope. You could put an attachment on there so you could shoot off screen to reload in House of the Dead. This thing was cool as fuck.
I think I vaguely remember Silent Scope, and it's one of those games where it's like you're the sniper crawling into enemy territory, and you have 10 seconds to like shoot the terrorist that's holding the president's daughter, then shoot the helicopter pilot, and then do all this thing, and it would be like 30 seconds of setup with all the explanation of what you need to do, and it goes go, and it's like wait what, and you're murdered instantly if you don't get it. If you don't hit every single shot. It was absolutely savage and just threw you back.
Yeah. I remember one level in Silent Scope, you were at the bottom of a hill and there was all these enemies advancing over the hill, and they ran lightning fast. I'm talking, the Flash would look at these guys and go, right lads, slow down. And you had to hit all of them. While zooming in on the scope, you had to hit all of them before they got to this point on the hill where they just got cover. And there's about 12 to 13 of them, and you had to just lightning reflex shoot them on you. So glad I played that on a console as opposed to the arcade, because I would have spent at least 50 quid on the damn thing. Just put 50p after 50p in the thing.
Yeah, I wonder about these games, if they're still out there. They must be out there somewhere on like emulators. You probably could get one.
You can emulate arcade games, but they're pretty janky. The best way or the easiest way for a company like Nintendo or even Sony or Microsoft to make money right now would be to just make a peripheral like the Joy-Con, like the PlayStation VR controller or whatever the equivalent would be on an Xbox, and just release light gun games that actually ran in HD, 4K, whatever the fuck you want. People would buy that shit in droves.
I wonder how. I mean, obviously the main thing with the gaming industry these days is like continual money streams from accessories and microtransactions that just become like an ambient revenue stream from a game that you release once. I wonder how expensive is it going to be to make something like a light gun game, something like an on-rail shooter that's just a small experience, put down £5 for it, and then run it on your Xbox. I wonder how much that costs, and could you get your money's worth? I wonder if it's one of the things that's been ignored as a possible revenue stream. Like people say, oh, horror games are dead, and then Twitch streaming comes back, or Twitch streaming shows up, and then people want to watch horror movies and want to play horror games again. I wonder.
And the Resident Evil's come back. I think light gun games, when people are looking for quick, 10, 15-minute games, like, dude, I've got, say, half an hour before I head out, or half an hour to kill before I go back to work or something. How much time can I'm not going to delve into Skyrim. I've only got a little bit of time. Fuck it, I'm going to throw in House of the Dead 2, shoot a couple of zombies and get KO'd very, very easy, because those games don't fuck around.
Yeah.
Then I'm going to go back to work. It's all about the quick dopamine hit where you just kind of go, oh, dude, that was fun. I feel good. I'm going to go back to work. As opposed to, say Breath of the Wild, where you're just the fun of that game is exploring and seeing the cool landscapes and stuff that you can see, but you have to be invested in it with for multiple hours. Whereas, say a game like Ghost Squad, made by Sega, which is just a quick sort of special forces shooter, that's going to scratch that itch quicker than Breath of the Wild would. So I think you'd get a lot of money coming in out of light gun games,
Actually,
especially if you made the good games again.
ignore the peripheral. Mobile. Hear me out on this one. You have it as like a VR experience, but through a mobile. So like where you'll have the phone in your hands, where you look is where the gun goes, and you fire, because you don't need many controls. So you can put it on a screen. I think you can make that work. Interesting. If you're listening to this podcast, and feel free to steal these ideas. Really, I want more games. I want more fun games out there.
Yeah.
Just
I just like something new to play, because the next game that will be getting delivered, next new game that I'll be buying is a Dynasty Warriors style game, which is going to be a sequel to Hyrule Warriors, which was the Legend of Zelda themed sort of Musou game, is what they call them. Just Link, Zelda, Sheik, a couple of Gorons go charging through masses of enemies and stuff like that. They're fun games, but once you get to a certain point when you've had to slice through about 3,000 enemies and you've had to fight 2 golems, and like, okay, I'm going to put this down for about a good hour or so. But they're pretty fun games if you play them in small doses and with co-op.
Yeah. I've seen Jim Stelling's comments on them, and he just says, look, I love the Hyrule Wars, Dynasty Warriors stuff, but I just can't play another one because it becomes the same thing in and out. And if you're not putting real creative passion into it, it kind of sucks. And it just drags, like, you do get to the point where you're like, man, this doesn't feel as fresh as it did when I started this like 3 hours ago. And those games can kind of wear and tear quite quickly. But if the passion's there and the characters are interesting, it does make it kind of worth it. Yeah. My tongue is tied in knots today. It's been great. I've spent most of the day
before we sat down to record this, I was writing my dissertation proposal, so my head is fried, like absolutely fried. If I speak gibberish or end up, summoning otherworldly horrors because I can't speak right, you know why.
Yeah, I spent most of the day. I didn't really have anything to eat. Like, I've had a couple snacks here and there, but I haven't actually had a solid meal until I decided to go out and just go to a local chip shop and order a fish supper and then a sausage supper, and then ate both because I hadn't eaten all day, and I've been handling bleach a lot. So yeah, not exactly in the best vocal capabilities. Like, it's totally fucking gone. My brain is fried, but yeah, it'll be interesting tomorrow.
Yeah,
and I feel like shit. It's unreal. Like, I was sitting there going, "Oh man, this will be so good," and all the stuff for the chip shop tastes amazing. And then you get to the end of it, and you're like, "You really just should stop eating these same chips." I've had 2 suppers worth of this. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
Oh, and definitely not worth. Like, sometimes people, I want to starve myself and just savor the steak that I'm going out for tonight. And you're like, I don't think that's how that works.
No. You starve yourself, you're just shrinking your stomach so you can't eat more.
Yeah.
I think there's something about when you're just cannot be fucked, you're absolutely done in, your melon is just melted, and you're just thinking, I want something quick, I don't want to have to cook. And there's just something about a chippy that scratches that itch. Like, just going out and getting a half pizza supper, as I used to get before, my old man's stomach decided that I can't eat cheese anymore. But yeah, God, I know what a bag of chips.
Yeah, we've done horrible things here. We really shouldn't have said that.
Yeah. It doesn't take much. I mean, as I do, I go back and rewatch a lot of things, and since we've been in lockdown, it's gotten worse. I've rewatched The Chef Show so many goddamn times.
That was a mistake.
And it's always a mistake, because you start looking about going, I could get a bone-in pork shoulder. I could get some orange juice, I could make mojo pork. I've got a spare day. I've got 4 different types of cheese to make a cheese toastie that I can't eat.
That was the one that really amazed me. I think that's the one with. Is that the one with Bill Burr? Where he has Bill Burr there. It's like, right, we're gonna make a cheese toastie here. He's like, excellent, I could fucking nail this. It's like, no, we're gonna use like 4 different types of cheese, all layered. So the sequence of flavor going through the sandwich as you bite, you're like, bro, this is like 5 times the amount of work anyone has ever put into a cheese sandwich.
Yeah, and you can tell it's a good cheese toastie because Bill Burr shuts the fuck up. And I'm pretty sure that guy could talk around getting a medal. one of the highest honors that you could get in America, and he's just still going, I'm fucking this. Boston Rage.
His solo podcast is just outstanding. The fact he's been doing it for close to a decade now, and just going off by himself in a room, it probably seems like madness, and it might actually be the definition that puts him in, the loony bin. But at the same time, damn, it is impressive that someone can just go like that. I don't think it's appreciated as much as it should be. I mean, I don't know if you've seen this whole thing that's been going on with like Twitch streamers, but there's no music on Twitch now because they're getting DMCA striked, and it's getting brutal because people who could previously rely on just having music on, kind of like an ambient DJ type thing, just have to be a personality now. When you see how bad people struggle to just hold a conversation with themselves or with their chat, you're like, oh wow, the people who actually have that skill have a genuine skill.
Yeah, I remember when I heard about this because I do get asked these questions quite a bit. Is this legal? All that kind of shit. And my response is always, I'm not telling you for free. But I remember I was watching someone play Crazy Taxi on Twitch, and if you know the game Crazy Taxi, 50% of that experience is the fact that the soundtrack is all Bad Religion and Offspring.
Yeah,
and there's something about rallying about a place that kind of looks like it's near the base, probably like San Francisco or something like that. Something that looks like a coastal American town in a taxi with Offspring blaring in the background. You need to pick people up and drop them off to get the best score, and in the time allotted and stuff. There's just something about that experience that the music becomes integral to it.
Mm-hmm.
Hearing someone play Crazy Taxi with the sound off is depressing. I stopped watching the stream. I can't watch this. This is unwatchable. How are you supposed to get into a game where most of the experience is the music, the hype that the music brings?
Yeah, and knowing that it will be like especially up like bass boosted version to give the game a bit more whack does kind of really make it a shame. Yeah,
especially a game like Crazy Taxi. That game is just iconic as shit with the music being part of that icon, and you've just you dicks.
Well, think about it. I mean, like Tony Hawk's, the SSX games, all those like sports games are just fucked now.
Yeah, I mean, Burnout Paradise is going to become a shitty game now because you can't listen to music while you drive about.
You're gonna have to realize how bad your driving is. It's going to be an absolute nightmare.
Crashing is just going to sound horrific because you're going to hear the crash.
You're going to hear the screams of the innocent. You're not going to enjoy it as much as you used to.
If you're riding on the bike, you're going to just hear the guy scream over and over again as he gets launched off the bike.
Oh, what was the...
It's bad, man. But that's the thing. It's the whole crux of this thing with Twitch is that people are saying that they're playing games and it's the relationship between the gamers and the people that made the game, that this shouldn't be allowed to go ahead. But at the same time, if you want to play licensed music in a pub, you need to get a PRS license.
Yeah.
It's not too dissimilar, that situation.
Mm.
You're making money off their product using licensed music. It's a messy subject, but
yeah, and
the fact that it's got this long without some kind of license is kind of amazing.
Yeah, Twitch has basically managed to ignore it somehow, but now it's popped into the main culture, and everyone goes, "Oh wait, there's these group of people just playing random music that's ours legally to a broadcast to people that needs certain licenses, that needs certain things." So my hope is that it is just a group of executives in the music industry who just want like a cut out of Amazon. Like we'll go away if you give us 1% of Amazon a year. I'd walk away for that money. I'd settle every lawsuit ever for 1% of Amazon a year.
Yeah, probably that 1% would set you up for life if you got 1% of Amazon.
Yeah,
you getting that Bezos money? Jesus, you'd be set for life.
Give me the scraps off of Bezos's plate. I will live infinitely better than I am now. I'll just be happy. A normal person could live off that for probably like 10 years.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, you live well for 10 years. I think that's the problem. Is you get to a certain point, it's like I'm used to so many thousands of pounds a year. I mean, did you see the thing with Dr. Dre's wife?
Absolutely not.
Oh, she's they're divorcing, and her requests for like spousal support are insane. She's asking for like 100,000 a year or 100,000 a month in money so that she can give it to charity every year. I think he was asking for about 2 million a month in spousal support. I'm like, no. And obviously, That's the initial offering. That's the initial or the initial request. So it's obviously like she's highballed it so that when it comes back down a
Yeah,
bit,
obviously.
she still ends up with the fucking moon. But still, damn. It was reading those was like absolutely not. I think she'd something like 80 grand in entertainment a month. I'm like, who are you hiring? Yeah, or do you just have like the Red Hot Chili Peppers coming around your house every other day to just like bust out the guitar and just fuck around for a bit? That's insane amounts of money. But it's the
I mean, I'd pay that money to get the Chili's to come round to my house, only if I could hit them with rotten eggs. Just, I think the Chili's for me are up there with Metallica, Biffy Clyro, and AC/DC. They all might have good songs, but they're three of the most overrated bands of all time.
I was gonna say like you got to give AC/DC and Metallica the one or two good songs that everyone kind of enjoys. Like there's a reason everyone enjoys those. They're classic.
There are AC/DC songs that I enjoy, but apart from the greatest hits, I don't really know much about AC/DC.
No, it's one of
And
the
if
things.
I do look into that back catalogue even slightly, it's just not good. And Metallica, I think they're just a poor man's Megadeth.
Ooh, controversial.
Yeah, fuck them.
I don't know. I know a little bit of Metallica. I don't know much about Megadeth. So no, it's a gap in my memory. But I was thinking of like overpriced bands that would definitely charge for a monthly fee to show up at someone's house. And Red Hot Chili Peppers came to mind. It always annoyed me. I never understood. Like
If this was the early 2000s, I think I'd be getting lynched for saying that. That's akin to witchcraft. The Chili Peppers are shit.
they just were though, and nobody really said anything about it. Everyone just kind of went, "Oh no, man, it's really cool. It's a really great vibe." You know, okay, what are they singing about?
I didn't say they were crap. You said they were crap. I love the Chili Peppers. Don't hurt me.
What was the one I did? I really pissed someone off. I said that Green Day was overrated. That almost got me shot.
I said that in a room full of. I said that at a Halloween party when one person was dressed as the lead singer.
Ooh, buddy.
Finally dawned on me who it was, and I was like, "Oh, you're dressed as the guy for Green Day. Man, Green Day are shit." And it's just everyone kind of turned on me. Like remember that scene in Shaun of the Dead where they realise that they're not zombies after they do the zombie noises to get to the pub?
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Everyone just kind of, you mean you don't like Green Day? Like, no, American Idiot sucks balls.
There's like a few good tracks on Dookie. That's about it.
Debatable, but each to their own, man.
Yeah. I was actually talking about Shaun of the Dead. I was watching a video about like Edgar Wright's use of like classic horror influences, and I was like, I don't know that much classic horror, but I'll see what's there. And I didn't realize that there was a reference to Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds, and I actually got a chance to see The Birds recently, or watch at least part of it. And yeah, there is actually the scene where Sean goes to the back to like flip the light switches, and the window, the back room's like blocked out, and you see like a horde of zombies start to gather at the window, and he just pulls the curtain down. It kind of is, just with the shot, the way the shot's framed. The glass window isn't a thing, because that's just like not the way that movie was set up. But yeah, that is the way that shot's designed, and the way like, everything interacts with each other. That is very much based on The Birds. Because in the one with the birds, though, they start pecking at the door because it's all wood, and you start to see beaks come through. But it's the same shot, like perfectly aligned. I was like, oh, nice. He really did go in and just pick subtle little things that no one really would have noticed unless she's had a film degree or something like that, and just wasted your time by making YouTube videos about it, which is this seems to be the path for most people with film degrees these days. Because nobody's making anything, there's no cinema like work going on. So like, well, I guess we could just discuss our movies.
The one person I know in reality that has a film degree is now training to be a pilot. So they're putting that media studies degree to good use.
He's gonna just overanalyze the scenes out of Top Gun. He's gonna make a massive career of, what was that? It was Top Gun, and then there was a one in the early 2000s. I think it was called Arrow, and it was basically trying to be Top Gun but with like stealth bombers. It was total garbage.
I think that movie might have just been called Stealth.
Yep, Stealth. Yep, there it is.
Yeah, it's definitely Stealth.
And if you think that's lazy writing,
be reminded of one of the subplots of it. They have it's 3 hotshot pilots. I think Jessica Alba was in there. She played one of the pilots, and it was early 2000s, height of our powers, Excalibur, so everyone was watching that.
Yeah.
And they try and beat the AI plane. And then the AI plane goes rogue, and I think at one point it threatens to bomb a friendly nation.
As
Early
if it wouldn't
2000s,
just get shredded on entry. Like, the US just phones something that goes, look, we released an AI-powered stealth jet. Here's the coordinates. Just shoot it down. This is our bad. We'll pay for the ammo, and anybody it lands on, it's fine. Our bad.
Yeah, me a couple.
We'll pay. We'll throw in 10% extra as a compliment, and let's just ignore this ever happened, shall we?
If the plane's not too badly damaged, you can keep it. How about we do it?
Keep it for spare parts. It's fine. You'll build your own fighter jets. Cool. Actually, did we? I don't think we actually talked about that. Since the last podcast, there's been a US election, kind of.
Yeah.
And by the looks,
looking at a very angry tweet from Donald Trump talking about how Dominion have apparently deleted 2.7 million Trump votes nationwide. You sure just 2.7 million people just didn't vote for you, mate?
I wonder if he genuinely doesn't realize how many people dislike him. I think he has the ego to believe everyone in America votes for him and believes in him the way that he believes in himself.
Dude, what if Donald Trump just doesn't know what sarcasm is? What if people? What
It would
if when
explain
someone
the
asks
bleach thing.
What if when because you imagine Donald Trump would be the kind of guy that says, "So what do you think of me?" You imagine if someone just goes, "Yeah, dude, you're tops," and turns away and just goes, "Wanker." What if he believes the sarcastic person that just goes, "Yeah, dude, Donald Trump, you're a good guy," and they don't hear them walking away going, "What a dick."
We watched it happen. I kind of watched some of the coverage. I couldn't watch all of it because I had to work, but you'd go away from it and you come back and you'd see it gradually start to turn blue in certain states, and it became very interesting. Like, came way further down to the like. My calls were either a massive Trump win, just somehow out of nowhere, massive Trump rally, everybody goes, votes, and he walks into the White House, no contest whatsoever. And the other one was that it would be incredibly down the wire. And I didn't anticipate just how down the wire it's fucking gotten. Because, I mean,
it was crazy, but it should not have been that close.
We're like 9-10 days away, and we, as far as I'm aware, I would still, I'm calling it's definitely Joe Biden, but I'd still be like half wary about celebrating just yet.
Yeah.
There's a recount in Georgia. We know that's happening, although that was going to happen anyway. I think the margin was within about 1,000 or so. So there was only like 1,000 votes in it. So at that point, automatic recount. But yeah, other than that, for some reason, what the fuck was happening in Nevada? Or was it Nevada or Arizona? That like they were still counting like 5 days after. Because I know Alaska.
I don't know. I just remember seeing something that Trump is projected to win. Where the fuck is it? He was projected to win in not Pennsylvania.
Alaska was one. Yeah. There, I just assume it takes a while for the battles to get there because they're fighting polar bears or some shit. So, that one, like, you give them a couple extra days.
But, is that racist?
No, it's fine. It's fine.
I apologise to the people of Alaska. Don't send your polar bears after me.
I do not apologise to the people of Alaska. Don't send Sarah Palin after me, alright? I'm fucking not having that.
Dude, Sarah Palin, I'd love it if Sarah Palin came back into the social zeitgeist. There's no such thing as lucky hunters. There's just unlucky animals. Oh, really? Explain that one.
My favourite one was
author of such quotes as, I know all about Russia because I can see it from my backyard. Excuse me?
I like the when there was the teacher strike. There was a bunch of teachers went off and said, look, we're not being paid enough. We need proper unionising. We need everything to be rewritten for teachers. And she was like, but the teacher's reward is in heaven. And it's like, bitch, the rent is due. We have shit to get done. What are you doing? Saying it'll be fine. Like, it'll work out in the end. I'm like, no, it won't. Teachers shouldn't be driving an Uber. What the fuck? Oh, but yeah, the Alaska was going to go. Like, there was some people saying, "Oh, maybe Alaska's going to go." Like, no, have you seen the state? Like the way that place maps out, it is all Republican all the way. It was Republican enough to get Sarah Palin into office in the first place. There's no Democrat option up there. But they have, there's a few states that are still up in the air. I want to say North Carolina finally went to Trump. Like, it was going to happen eventually. I know some people from there who are all very immensely disappointed. by the fact that Biden couldn't flip it. And I'm sorry, but he just doesn't have the oomph necessary to get rid of one of the most charismatic Republicans in decades, which is a shame because I think even if Trump doesn't win this one, he will now be the major driving force of the Republican Party for the next decade or so, as long as he wants to stay there, basically, or until something throws him out. It's going to be bad for the Republicans. The Republicans are going to be unbearable, or even more unbearable, depending on your stance, for the next 10 years.
What, Biden could cure cancer, he could cure COVID, he could solve world hunger, or he could solve poverty in America, he could end student debt in America. He could do all those things that are just, massive boons for America, no matter what Donald Trump is still going to criticize him for. Even if the counts do reveal that Biden wins and Trump gets knocked back, he's just going to be the world's biggest critic. I mean, I don't even think. I mean, there's obviously the joke going about that if Biden is sworn in on the inauguration day, Trump's just not going to leave. You're just going to see Trump walking about the White House wearing his house coat and, whatever dead animal he wears on his feet. Just wandering about the White House going, I'm not fucking leaving. Fuck you. Just stay at my room, Biden. I've got some shit in there.
Trump be like, no, my room. No, Biden, go. It's my room.
With a water pistol, beat it. Mine.
Hey. He's just squirting at him from across the hallway.
I just got the image of Biden giving a press release on the day of his inauguration and Trump just sitting there with a Nerf gun shooting him. Just, fuck you, Biden. Fuck you.
That's so good. I just like the idea of it. It'd still be from inside the building.
Yeah. I mean, not even one of the Nerf guns that just has the battery in them, so you can just belt feed some bullets. He's just popping bullets, reloading, popping bullets.
No, it's for Trump. It has to be the that shotgun one, the one you get to hand pump every single round into the chamber. Just bunk, bunk, bunk.
You can imagine Biden's such a professional. He'd just take the hit and keep talking. Eventually, just Kamala Harris to come in and just garrote him. Just kind of take the shot, Kamala.
It's I did see his speech. I've seen a couple of Biden speeches since then. He seems to be all right. There was a lot of people joking about the fact that he basically seems to shut down from time to time. And I was kind of worried about him at one point because Harris came up and spoke, and it was to do with the Obamacare stuff. The Trump administration has been trying to shut it down for the last 4 years. Biden's going to try and bring it back and get it all sorted out, just hammer out all the kinks. And Harris came up and spoke and said, it's too important during the pandemic, we need to sort things out. And Biden, like she said, I would like to welcome President-elect Joe Biden. And Joe Biden just stood there for 5 minutes. And I was like, is he okay? Does he know he's supposed to go when his name is called? But it's no.
Someone back in Biden, he's sleeping again.
But it was actually because off camera they showed the wide angle and there's interns coming in removing stuff from Harris's speech and then wiping down all the surfaces and bringing out stuff for Biden's speech. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, fine. COVID protocols. He's not insane yet. He's fine. He just needs to be need to set the table for him properly, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird, man.
It's an odd one, but I can't believe how close it got. It shouldn't have been that close. I really was. I mean, I personally thought I was going to be listening to 4 more years of Trump, really just hating every moment of it. And I'm quite happy to see that Biden got in. I know there's people who have concerns with him, and most of those concerns are pretty valid. I'm so glad he's gone. Does it not feel like there's been a bit of a kind of general sigh of relief across the internet and whatever you watch? Everyone
I think
to
there's a mass collective fart in America because of all the unclenched butt cheeks. Just a wave of fart gas of people just going, oh, thank Christ I can let that one go. I don't need to worry about this guy getting rid of more rights for trans people or
got
Donald
an
Trump
EPA or
postal service in America.
Yeah, I've had conversations with people from the US and there were genuine concerns, genuine fears of what happens next, but it seems like as the longer this thing runs, the less credible Trump sounds. So hopefully nothing that he's saying can be proven.
The fact that he keeps tweeting in all caps saying stuff like, I won by a lot, just lends to his credibility.
it does seem like some absolute nonsense that goes on. Like when a dictator like somehow loses an election in a far off country, you're like, this is how like crazy people act. And you see him, you're like, oh, it's the same thing. I've been doing the joke all week that if America saw what was going on in America, they'd have invaded America by now to establish democracy. Like, fuck this. It's an odd one, and I'm so glad it's over. I think we get to.
I'd like to know what has happened to Melania Trump. I want to know if she's okay.
I wonder if
because
she's evacuated yet.
Want to pay for the body doubles anymore, so the body doubles have been let go. So maybe Melania Trump is the tracking bracelet has been let go, and she's now ran to freedom.
I feel like what she does.
As she runs, she's going, "It's time, get him away from me."
I feel like divorce, and then write the greatest book of all time. That'd be my vote.
Boy, the tell-all by Melania Trump would. I don't think the world would be ready for it. It would show us some shit that Donald Trump doesn't want people to know.
He showed up to top secret security meetings with no pants on, twice. And it wasn't pointed out for 40 minutes because no one wanted to piss him off because he looked a little bit fucked up. Oh, I refuse to believe that guy.
Trump devoted to his wig.
For some reason, I refuse to believe that Trump is sober.
Yeah, he sounds drunk constantly.
Like
The amount of pauses that he takes in between sentences and the amount of kind of catch breath, the kind of
the snorts, the sniffs.
Just steaming constantly.
Yeah, I don't buy it from it. I mean, yeah, you can say that he's on Adderall, which is like just off of meth, but I look at him and I say, there's got to be something there. That can't be him. If that was me, naturally, I'd be fucking terrified.
In fact, no, dude, you know what it is? It's the brain slug that is his wig changing his mood. By slowly sapping away his intelligence, it's just making him look drunk and old and decrepit. Donald Trump isn't actually really a billionaire. He started off as just a farmer in Wyoming, but then the brain slug attacked him. Tried to send him a new heights of power so that the brain slug could take over the universe.
And somehow it worked. For a long time, it really fucking worked.
I've been saying this for about 4 years now, but no one believes me.
That's why you need to get yourself on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
I didn't know, by the way, he's retiring, or he's planning to retire next year. And not sure I feel about that one. Gonna miss him.
Yeah, I mean, I think after 2020 we can let old agey have a break.
Yeah. He's
Because every time he appears on Joe Rogan's podcast, I've got to wade through 2,000 to 3,000 tweets on Twitter talking about how Spotify should not be giving a platform to these dicks.
Yeah, the hissy fit that seems to come out of that company every time there's someone vaguely controversial. You can't have this person. They're saying horrible things about this group, and let them speak. Let them speak long enough to basically knit the rope that hangs them, and then just publish it anyway. And you can let everyone know how much a piece of shit they are.
Let them talk long enough for people to realise that he's just a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
People laugh their asses off when he says, "Look, I'm basically kind of retarded." That wasn't him making a joke. He was telling you.
That was your warning, and you didn't listen. Yeah. What's the other one he had? Rogan's had a few good ones recently, and mostly actually the ones with Tim Dillon. But I was listening to Two Bears One Cave a lot as well, and Tim Dillon showed up there as well. Although it seems like the mass exodus from LA is actually kind of going ahead.
What are you talking about? Comedians leaving LA?
Yeah. There's a few that are going to hold out for a little bit longer, but they've mentioned Tom Segura leaving a couple times, which is interesting because that obviously takes Christina P. with him.
Can you take Ari Shaffir and just leave him in the Nevada desert somewhere? We don't need him anymore.
He's there. He's there getting stoned anyway. He doesn't give a shit. But he's actually in New York, so he wouldn't really be, although he might exit New York as well. I actually read the back and forth between.
A comedian turn around so quickly as towards Ari Shaffir.
It happened
the drug
fast.
Bert Kreischer thing. I was like, yeah, you can't. Even if it is Bert Kreischer, the guy who, star of such shows as Hurt Bert and Danger Man Bert Kreischer, you still can't drug that guy. That ain't cool, though.
Yeah, and I look at him and his career, and then the Kobe thing just tanked him publicly as well.
that was not cool.
That one, you're like, damn, that happened like 20 minutes ago, and you tweeted that. Damn, son.
That wasn't cool.
Yeah. Actually, in basketball news, I didn't realize that. Remember the Michael Jordan Bulls documentary, The Last Dance.
Yeah, I remember us talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's out on Blu-ray. I didn't realize that was coming out.
Oh, nice one.
Yeah, I might grab that. I don't know why. I've already seen it, and I know it's on Netflix, and it'll be there for a while. But I kind of want it because apparently there's like 4 hours of behind-the-scenes stuff. I kind of want that.
I'm having a similar problem with Akira because they're releasing a 4K restoration,
Shit.
and I already have it on Blu-ray, and I already have it on DVD. Do I need a third copy? No.
I think we all know the answer to that one. I mean,
What did you say there?
I think we all know the answer to that one. I think we all know you're going to get it.
Yeah, probably. I mean, it's not because I'm not going through to uni 3 or 4 times a week anymore. I have more disposable income than I'm used to. So there's always that kind of tempering of it, trying not to go mental and buy dumb shit.
Yeah, as soon as the money becomes there, like it's not. Oh yeah, I've got that. It's left over. It's spare cash. What can I get with that spare cash?
Yeah, so I could buy an Apple Watch, or I could buy a new Xbox, or I could buy a new PS5. But I think the way those console releases went, there's no chance of people that didn't pre-order it getting one before January. I think that's when the next wave is going to come through.
I think that we have. I would say actually, we can talk about consoles if you like, because there's a bit of news about the Xbox One. But I genuinely think that if you didn't have one pre-ordered and ready to go, you would not get one on launch day, and probably not for the first week.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to walk into a shop and buy one unless you pre-ordered. I think you might be lucky and you get one around about Christmas time. We're talking end of November, start of December. But absolutely no chance that you're going to be able to walk into Argos or Game or something like that and go, one Xbox Series X, please. They're just going to look at you and go, fucking, who do you think you are? Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the releases, because I want to say there'll be plenty available for Christmas and stuff like that, because it's a month away. But the way that supply chains have been going up for tech these days, I'm not exactly faithful at this point.
Yeah, I know there's a massive waiting list for I think it's the 3080 GPU, and I know there's I don't know specific examples, but there's somebody that's been on a waiting list since September trying to get one of those fucking things.
Yeah, the 30 series cards have proved immensely successful, especially based on the fact they're cost efficient, which is a rare thing for an Nvidia product. But yeah, I think that they could easily sell out many, many times over before you can actually get your hands on one. And yeah, they've not exactly done a great job of like the actual distribution. Did I tell you about the 3070 cards not having like a capture in place to stop bots from buying it?
Yeah, I think we spoke about that on the last episode, that there was just there was no proper things in place, so barely anybody got one. It was just bots buying them up to resell,
which absolute cunt move.
Yeah. Absolute galaxy brain move for anyone who's going to resell that shit, but just a dick move.
Yeah, I mean, even if you don't get to do the 2 or 3 times scalper price, even just get it to like 150%. Yeah, and
as someone who actually wants to get a Series X, scalpers can go fuck themselves. I don't want to pay £2,000 just for the pre-order of a Series X, then to have to pay an additional £500 because I'm going for the Series X. I have far too many physical discs to get the Series S. So yeah, I'd probably at this point be more value for money getting the Series X.
I actually been discussing the like the next generation of consoles with my brothers, because we all like to game together when we can. So if we get the choice, we all try to go for the same thing. And they're actually going to PC, just because there's the overlap with the Xbox.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Xbox have kind of shot themselves in the foot a little bit, because people can future-proof their PCs, and it's going to allow them to play next-gen hardware for quite a while. And it's going to be able to keep them going and going and going. I wouldn't say longer than an Xbox would, because you can get the Xbox and that's you for 10 odd years. But with Game Pass, you can just bypass getting the console and just have Gears 5 Series X edition running on your PC, providing you can run what the Series X could.
Yeah, although it does raise the question for me is, where does the money come in from Microsoft? Because it must be through the services, right? If they're comfortable saying you don't need a console, there must be something on the software side that makes the money. And it can't be game releases just because they have the Game Pass.
Combination of because in this house we've got me and my brother have the games with the Game Pass with gold, and that is about half the price of even a year of gold. I think pay about £18-19 for that.
Yeah.
You gotta imagine people go, holy fuck, that is good value for money, and it comes with a PC. Dude,
Yeah.
I'm just going to pay 20 quid, and that's me, pardon the pun, but quids in.
Yeah.
I get that on my PC. Then how many other people are going to do that, or how many people are going to, with the Xbox, get Game Pass anyway? So you got to imagine that the majority of the money is just coming from Game Pass because people realize that right now it is the best deal in gaming. PlayStation Now and PlayStation Plus. I mean, whereas PlayStation may have the better exclusive games, because I don't think we can even dispute that at this point.
Yeah, definitely.
PlayStation doesn't have a good enough backwards compatibility or backlog to keep up with PlayStation, or to keep up with Xbox even.
But my question is though, if that Game Pass money, that has to be being spent on the games to keep the Game Pass valid, right?
Yeah.
But how? I mean, unless there are millions, and I'm talking like in the range of like 20 to 30 million subscribers to the Game Pass, how do you have that much money to throw around at game studios?
I genuinely think that you might be lowballing the amount of subscribers that Game Pass has. I think 30 million people subscribe to it globally is low.
Okay, yeah. So, but I mean, like a certain point, like how high does that have to go, and then to justify the amount of money you've got to spend to develop a game?
Yeah.
Because the thing is, they're doing this, and I assume walking away with a profit.
Yeah.
Unless game sales are still pretty high.
Imagine they've got to pay the studios and something. Imagine they're setting a reasonable expectation for the studios, taking a decent profit from that, but still not a massive profit, and then just going round different game studios. Because you imagine indie studios, they'd get quite a lot of money from Game Pass, and Microsoft being the bigger company probably don't take as much, but they will go around 20, 25 indie studios just going, you've got a new game coming out, chuck it on our system. It's fine, just chuck it on our system, we'll be good.
Yeah, I just look at games these days, and outside of microtransactions, I just kind of wonder where the game money is coming from, in a sense. Like, I don't know how many subscribers they have, but, I mean, do you really think there's 100 million Games Pass users out there?
Not far off it, man.
The max push I'd say is 70. I can't see it being that many without Microsoft being like, we have 100 million people signed up for our service.
I mean, it's not too far away from 100 million. Yeah. I still think, there's enough Game Pass subscribers, because you've got to imagine it's a fucking phenomenal deal for parents, because they'll get their kids the Xbox One X or the Xbox One, and go, right, we've got them this, but games are fucking expensive. Oh wait, 20 quid a month? That gets them about 300 games. Fucking brilliant, we'll get them that. And you've got to imagine more parents are doing that instead of going out and buying, was it fucking 50 to 60 quid games? Or £70 if you're getting the new Series X and PS5 games.
Oh yeah, I forgot that they did warn us about that a while back and say, look, we're going to have to increase prices here.
Yeah.
Or you could use our services that we have, like the Game Pass or whatever the PlayStation has.
Yeah, PlayStation Now sucks absolute balls. You get, oh fuck, that was an epic voice crack. Yeah, PlayStation Now is a pile of shit. You get, I think, 20 odd games a month. So you get your PlayStation Plus games, and you get additional backlog games on PlayStation Now. Are just, if you've got a PlayStation 4, chances are you already have these backlog games. Right. So PlayStation Now is just useless. Whereas on, Game Pass, you've got your usual games. Then you've got, Doom Eternal's on Game Pass. Games like Killer Instinct. Games like Gears 5. Yeah, the games that you want to play are actually on Game Pass, as opposed to games that you maybe missed because you weren't too interested in them, or games that you probably already own.
Yeah, I don't see it being. I just wonder where the money comes from, and I think it probably does come down to microtransactions in games. I think that's maybe where they're able to make up the gap. and just say, look, we'll get your game on as many consoles as we possibly can, and then you guys just have an appealing service as far as microtransaction goes, and then you guys can skim all the profits from that. We just want the game.
Yeah, you guys just stand there and look pretty.
Yeah, you guys whore yourself out a little bit. Are we calling Microsoft pimps? Is that what we're doing here?
I believe that's exactly what we're doing.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Microsoft are pimps. That's the episode title as well. Fuck it. I have decided.
Microsoft are pimps.
I'm noting that one down actually. But yeah, I look at that, and like gaming right now, it's kind of stale because obviously everything's been locked down due to coronavirus. I actually don't know the next scheduled set of releases. I'm just really waiting on Destiny's Beyond Light, which we know the title of now, thanks to last night's stream. Not Afterlight. Yeah, that was a stupid title. Who would possibly call it that?
But my guess was going to be a Bury the Light, but that's the name of Virgil's theme from DMC5 Special Edition. And the reason that's on my head is because that's just a fucking banging song. All the music in DMC5 is ridiculously good, and the new one for Virgil being in Special Edition, it's no different. Got that shit on repeat.
Somebody shared with me like this really weird Devil May Cry like fan made video. I hope it's fan made. It's not official, but it's like the most cringy. Like the idea that Virgil was basically the Joker before the Joker was there, like that kind of we live in a society type of thing. And I was honestly just I could not physically sit through this video.
Yeah, if you're calling Virgil the guy that cares about society, then you've completely missed the whole point of Virgil. Virgil is the biggest he's the biggest lone wolf you could ever think of. He is thinking about power. He's thinking about himself only.
Oh no, I'm talking like in terms of that kind of the Joker as a gamer interpretation of like we live in a society that presses people. That kind of anarchist view of the world. And I was like, oh my god, this is just horrific cringe.
All right.
Who was the other one?
I don't think I'll give it a listen. But
no, I don't. It's just bad. It was on a Discord, and I'm pretty sure it was like a fan made random thing. That was the number of weird videos. I didn't think that was a thing that existed. That I find on weird Discords is amazing. Like the number of edits people go to. Someone also just uploaded the full Joker movie onto Discord as well, and that got linked around as well, like the Joaquin Phoenix one.
All right.
It's like 480p, but you know, if you just
watch it free if you're really that inclined.
Yeah, if you just want to rewatch the you get what you fucking deserve scene, you know, not the worst thing you could do with 20 minutes.
I think that's what most people just watch that film for, because the rest of the film is quite slow. There's not a lot that happens in it. There's just a lot of personal moments for Arthur. You get the big payoff at the end of it.
Yeah, and actually, although we talk about it being a slow movie, I actually found a video of someone who watched it like 25% speed, just so he could soak in all the details of all the frame. And I didn't notice there was a countdown going on. If you look at like random scenes, like key pivotal scenes for the Joker, you can see it counting down from 10 to 1. And the 1 is when he reveals himself as being the Joker.
Oh, right.
And I'm like, it's one of those things of like they just hit it in every frame, but you can see a number going from 10 to 1. You're like, oh, okay, that's kind of impressive. Just one of those things that someone put a lot of time into building this. Because like the camera that zooms in just before he shoots Murray is number 3. And then there's 2, and then there's it's Ace for the 1. Just because they couldn't find a way to get the 1 there. So they just had somewhere in the background you see the word Ace. I go, oh shit. You sneaky bastard, Todd Phillips. I love you. I actually need to rewatch that movie.
That's probably, I suppose, because, you know, before you do something stupid, take a breath, count to 10, that kind of thing. So,
yeah.
I mean, we could sit here all night and try and analyze the nuances of the Joker movie, and I think it probably would take us till well into the wee hours of the morning.
Yeah.
We watched that film again. It was a fucking great film.
Yeah, I'm immediately in the same headspace. I'm like, I really want to rewatch that now. Go back to it. I actually think I might have one of the like best films for 2020 due on my watch list. I maybe haven't seen 1917 yet. I don't think I've actually sat and watched the whole thing. I think I've seen most of the behind the scenes stuff, but that came out in 2020, so pretty strong odds that it goes in with the recency bias to become my best film of 2020.
2 films kind of popped up on my hurry to watch list, and that is The Lighthouse
Yes.
by the same guy that made the Witch. And I was kind of hesitant to watch the film because I did not like The Witch. I was bored by The Witch. But then I've seen some of the scenes from The Lighthouse, and I thought, you know what, this film does look completely different for The Witch. I might give it a watch. So yeah,
That's
picking up a copy of that tomorrow. And fuck, there was another film, Parasite. Yeah, I still need to watch that film.
Ooh, I think I need to find out where my Blu-ray for that is. Someone's got it. Someone in my family has it. But yeah,
I need to pick up some things tomorrow, so I need to go through to Edinburgh because we're still having on-campus lectures, which is fucking weird, despite the fact that there's another lockdown coming. I'm telling you. Can I talk about my COVID-8 story yet? I've been choking to talk about that one.
Oh yeah, go for it. Yeah, we did. Dom promised me a story about someone who has a very special take on the coronavirus, and yeah, I might as well go for it.
This was a painful story to sit and watch. Painful not in the sense that it was just sheer stupidity, because it wasn't sheer stupidity. Painful in the fact that I had to stop myself from laughing / bailing out on this motherfucker. But I've been having a lot of problems with my ear, so I went down to the chemist to get some eardrops. It's all been cleared up now, but when I was waiting in the queue for the woman to process my prescription and get me my medication, there was two women talking, as you usually do, two, mums just about to go on the school run, and they were over here and just like, aye, we're going back into lockdown, that's what they're saying, aye, that's what they're saying. You get my sister, aye, she works for the emergency service, and you ken they've got to be told when the lockdowns are coming. Aye, all that shit. And she goes, you ken we've got a vaccine coming. She goes, no, I've not got a vaccine. She says, I'll not be getting it though. I says I'll not be getting it because this new and they're going to put stuff in it that changes your DNA, and I like this current government, but I'm not changing my DNA for fucking anybody. My eyes are staring at my head. I'm glad I had the mask on because you would have seen dribbles of blood while I was biting my lip trying not to say anything. It's like, I can't even begin to talk about how many things are wrong with that sentence. Like, how powerful the medication would need to be for it to change your DNA.
That is amazing.
That she was talking to just accepted it. She went, aye, it's not worth it, is it?
Oh, aye, so, well, aye, just that kind of general nod along that you have with people in a conversation. That's so... Oh.
It's like, I'm worried about COVID, but I'm not wanting my DNA changed. I like having 10 fingers. I'm not wanting one less finger. That's just a waste of a Sunday to me.
I'm off them finding a cure, but I didn't want to wake up with lizard skin. Seems a bit much to cure the virus.
Like, I'm not wanting kills. That's what I'm saying. I'm not wanting kills.
Oh, fucking hell. That's so...
It's bad. And when you have to excuse yourself to go and, just do something to keep yourself busy. Like, the only time I've ever had to excuse me to move from where I was standing to go and do something to keep myself busy, it was when I watched what film was it? I think it was Taken 3, the worst film I've seen of that age. It was so fucking awful with the bagels and shit. I think I had to just shift in my seat, pull out my phone and just check things and just start critiquing the cinema room that we were in. Because the film was that bad. I'm like, I can't focus on this. If I do, I'm going to go mental.
I would rather focus on the decor than the actual film itself.
Yeah. I'd rather focus on where the air conditioning is hitting me. I had to do that at the chemist. I started walking towards the back of the chemist and having a look at the aftershaves because this woman's nonsense was getting too strong.
I just worry. I'm concerned that, she's out there, we're assuming that she's a mother, right? She's bred and had kids.
Yeah, she was holding her keys in the typical mum fashion, just on the end of the index finger, just dangling off them.
I'm mostly just worried that not only has she had the kid, but she then influences that child, and now or the children, and there might be now more than one of her brain running around in the world. That someone else is out there.
Similar thought processes out there in existence.
It's this thing is, as a parent, you pass on the logic, the understanding, the knowledge that you've gained in your life to the kids so that they don't have to put in the effort to learn it to make their lives easier. She's going to pass on that. Oh, we're so fucked.
Her daughter is going to be that one who appears on a TV show, just say whatever the future version of Lorraine Kelly is. But I probably still will be a Lorraine Kelly because they're just going to take her head, put it in a jar, and put that in a robot body, and just have her continually host mid-afternoon TV. She's going to be on the future version of the Lorraine Kelly show, and Lorraine Kelly's going to look at her and go, "So, you cut your own hair, do you?" And she's going to reply, "Yeah, I cut my own hair, I put it in a burlap sack, and I burn it out the back because I'm not wanting the government getting my information." That's how they get it, man. I burn all my hair. All my candles are made of my own earwax because they're not getting that DNA.
She just entirely, like, she accidentally becomes a very, very self-sufficient person, becomes an ecological model. Like, we need to try and, like, figure out how she lives that way so that we can do it ourselves and save the environment. But she did it entirely the wrong way.
So why do you grow your own potatoes? Because they get your DNA off crisp packets.
I've saw CSI. I'm all about it. Oh, fucking hell. I worry, I weep, I have concern, and I don't know how we fix that. I really, when you hear somebody say something like that, you think, there's got to be a way we can get to that person, sit down with them, and explain what's going on. But I think it leans into the idea of, like, the conspiracy theory, that, like, if you get to a certain point, your theory becomes so grand and all-encompassing that everything that you can present as a normal person to a theorist becomes part of that conspiracy, and they can find a way to explain it all. And I've said this about, like, the flat earthers. Like, I genuinely think Joe Public could not dismantle the flat earther debate just because you don't know enough about their ideas to take them apart. And I think it might be the same issue.
I think because I mean, how many times have you been in a shop or something and someone said something just so dumb and so outrageous, now the person's just going, "Is that right? I am going to look that up when I go home." No one wants to admit that the other person is wrong because that's bad form in public.
That's impolite.
That's
not to be done.
Orthodox.
Yeah,
That's in public.
I just, this is the reason I wear headphones all the time. Always wearing headphones. But then you're just left with like people who just aren't, you don't know the context for why they're not moving, which I guess might be the one drawback. But yeah, I just wear headphones all the time. I just ignore other people. I genuinely don't pay that much attention to anyone who isn't like someone I work with. I pay attention to those people because obviously I have to. But beyond that, if I'm just walking around the shops, I just ignore 99% of people that I ever come across. The 1% exception being the old lady who's like, "Hey, can you get this off the top shelf for me? Because I'm tiny and old."
I mean, I never get that because, you know, I can't quite reach the top shelf yet.
You're a grown boy, Dom. You'll get there eventually. It's fine.
I'm never that guy that someone's going to come up and say, "Oh, could you get me that off the back of that top shelf?" I mean, if it was at the front, I could maybe shimmy it down, but I'm never that guy that has to. I could scale up there like fucking Spider-Man. But I'm never that guy that someone says, "Get that from the top shelf."
No, I got that, and that's the interesting part is that people really want to try and follow the coronavirus restrictions and the like social distancing, but then when they need to get your attention, they grab your arm. And you're like, that's you're not supposed to do that, but okay, like you can just wave for me. I'll maybe pay attention. If someone is waving at you that you don't know, I generally try and pay attention to that person. They generally want to do something or have something to say that I generally try and pay attention to.
Oh, I've never had anyone tap me in the arm, but I have had someone poke me in the side of on the cheek with a back scratcher because they wanted to get my attention.
Did you then shove that back scratcher up their ass?
No, they just prodded me in the side of the cheek, and I just turned around and went, "Can I help you?" And they went, "Your bag's open." You could have just told me that my bag was open. I just got off the train. This woman followed me from outside the Haymarket to where the bus stop is, and she's kind of at the traffic lights. I was pushing the button to cross over, and I just feel this prod in my cheek. And some woman going, "Your bag's open, by the way."
You meet the worst people.
Yeah, I mean freaks in Edinburgh. Absolute freaks.
We joked about that yesterday on the stream.
I don't know if I ever told you at the time when I was in Edinburgh and some woman went off her nut at me in a Starbucks.
I think I remember something about Starbucks, but refresh my memory.
What happened was because I quite like iced tea. You you can drink an iced tea quicker than you can down scalding hot tea.
Yeah.
Went ordered my iced tea, and went up. Finally, my turn at the counter. They call me forward and say, "What can I get you?" And I say, "Oh, can I get a lemon iced tea?" And from behind me, I hear this woman just go, "Motherfucking white male!" and storm out of Starbucks. And I turned to the woman that was behind her and went, "I didn't deserve that, did I?" She went, "I wasn't paying attention." I was like, "How do you not pay attention to that?" But yeah, I meet some weirdos when I go through Edinburgh.
I like the idea of being so engrossed in your phone that you're like, "Well."
You don't pay attention to the hysterical person just storming out of the Starbucks.
Although the only bit of response other than is where? As if they didn't see and they're like, where are they? Just karate moves, ready to go. Oh, that's so fucking bad. I generally am amazed at the people you run into in Edinburgh, and I never meet these people, or if I do, I just like blast right past them and just ignore them.
Yeah, I think it's because you're about 6 foot odd or something, 6'1" maybe.
6. I'm just 6 on the dot.
Yeah, you're about 6 foot tall, and you're usually you're quite a bit bigger than I am. People just and you're bald as well.
Yeah, I'm bald and I'm moving. I think that's the difference.
Yeah. You automatically kind of always look a bit angrier when you don't have hair. So just go, no, I'm not going to talk to this guy. But me, I'm shorter. I've got the grey hair. People just can assume that I remind them of their dad and be like, oh, dude, I could sit and talk to my dad for hours. I'm going to talk to this guy. And next thing you know, I'm stuck for 45 minutes listening to someone talk about the economical and spiritual advantages of being vegan. And I'm trying to come up with excuses as to how to get out of this. Usually I just fake a phone call.
Oh, I actually do have the natural skill going on. Like the eyebrows are always dented down, to the point where I was at my brother's wedding. He was now married for a whole 12 days. Yeah, he was on the.
Congratulations.
Yeah, I passed on the congratulations, by the way. And everyone who's like, "Oh my god, it's finally happened!" You're like, yeah, finally is the exact word. Because they've been together for a couple of years now, and they're just a great match. So being at the wedding was a real privilege and honor. But the second I stepped out the car, because we dropped off by taxi at the venue, everyone assumed I was a hitman. And I was like, wait, what? Because I step out with a suit, I'm never in a suit, I'm bald. I've got the, I don't wear masks, I have the snood, the kind of half balaclava. So I step out a car like that, and everyone went, oh shit.
Imagine that fucking weird as well. Going to a wedding and just seeing everyone in masks.
Yeah, it was a little odd, but it was. I mean, we were making the best of the day. I think that was what I talked to the bride Lucy, who was fucking nailing it in a proper full white wedding dress and white Doc Martens. Respect.
Nice.
And well, this thing is like, yeah, she wanted to get dressed up for the big day, but girly girl, you can't really be a horsey girl and a girly girl. You know, there's got to be an element of pragmatic dress sense there. So they had the big day, but they were saying, look, we're just going to have to make do with who we can get there with like a limited roster of people there. And if it's not everyone, yeah, it's a shame, but we want to just have this day with family and friends. So it was the arguably highlight of 2020. I don't think it gets better than that. Family wedding.
I can imagine amidst all the being stuck inside for 6 months and boredom and shit. Yeah, I can imagine a wedding's got to be a hell of a mood booster.
Yeah, and that was the thing. You walked out that day going, "Oh yeah, that was a genuinely great day," and like it's that thing is a wedding isn't about the past; it's more about the future. Like this is the start of the rest of their lives, which is interesting.
Yeah. All the best to. We could say names, or should I just call it Brother Graham?
Yeah, go first name.
Yeah, all the best to Mike and Lucy.
Correct. Good guess. Yeah. Although it did immediately go sideways in the evening when we found out about the passing of Sean Connery.
All right.
Because we were sat around like watching a movie because can't really do much. We're trying to like limit social groups and stuff like that, and we were kind of sitting waiting for something to happen. We're watching Crawl, the hurricane alligator movie that came out a couple of years ago. Not great.
No.
Wouldn't recommend.
That doesn't sound great.
Bad CGI, bad alligator logic. I'm sorry. At one point, a 50 kilo skinny swimming girl managed to kick an alligator in the head so hard it lets go over. Like, no. Gators and crocodiles take hits from zebras and water buffalo all the fucking time and do not let go. Chloe is not dislodging an alligator. Fuck off. But I went in on the movie. My brother went in on the alligator facts because he's just become an alligator expert for no fucking reason during lockdown. He's just fascinated by alligators.
Got to keep yourself busy during lockdown.
Yeah,
Some people keep themselves out in net. Other people learn how to cook. Some people become experts in alligators.
We were going in on that, and like he popped up to like grab some stuff and go back down to his place. And as he was standing there, we just like my mum has the like Google alerts for like news stuff coming up on her phone. Right, she was ding, mum picking up her phone. Oh shit, Sean Connery's dead. Like, oh what? It's absolutely fucking ruined the day. But at the same time, like seeing like the reaction, like the pacing and timing of it, like my mum clearly just reading the headline of just Sean Connery's dead and just the oh shit that rang through the house was amazing. It's it's a weird one actually. I saw that Talk With It Rhythm, Al Gore has put out his tribute episode of watching Hunt for Red October and The Untouchables.
I mean, Hunt for Red October is a spectacular movie. One reason, just that the movie itself is actually genuinely good. It's kind of an acting masterclass from, I think Alec Baldwin is in there.
Yep, he's in there.
Yeah, Alec Baldwin, Sean Connery, all concerned. But it's also an accent masterclass because Sean Connery puts on the single best Russian accent you will ever hear. Dosh Vidanya.
Dosh Vidanya, pass me my lasagna. Oh, it's...
Thank you for doing that line as I was trying to take a drink of water.
How's that monitor looking? I'm looking forward to, I've seen The Untouchables. I didn't realize that the same guy who directed The Untouchables also directed Carrie. Like, if you look at...
I was going to say the first one, but the only good one.
Yeah, the only one.
Yeah.
Do we have an understanding though? Do we? But Brian De Palma, like if you look at his career, you're like, God damn, it is just non-stop bangers.
Yeah, Brian. You say Brian De Palma?
Brian De Palma.
Yeah, he just kind of hit it out of the park with good film after good film. I think then he had the good grace to just stop.
Untouchables, Dressed to Kill, Body Double, Femme Fatale. I mean, he has some new stuff coming out, but I think he went into like, with the way El Gore put it, is it's the kind of genre films, like the horror films, the sci-fi stuff. Also, he directed Mission Impossible. What the fuck?
The first one?
Yeah. That's Brian De Palma.
Yeah, the only good one.
Yeah. You watch it, you're like, I can't believe how much stuff this guy has managed to pull off. It's insane. Like Scarface, Carlito's Way, Mission Impossible, the fact that all that comes out of one person.
Yeah. I acknowledge the feat inherent in Scarface, but I'm going to catch flack for this, but I think Scarface is probably the most overrated film of all time.
Right, that's it. If we can't do Best of 2020, do you think we could do the most overrated of each genre?
Yeah, I think we could.
I think we could do it. I think we could pull off. What is it?
Easily we could do that. Just talk about how overrated shit is.
I think that'll be our... we would do April Fools. Can we do April Fools jokes? Just overrated bullshit. Because I'd love to see...
April Fools jokes, we could just do shit that I'm sick of hearing. Like Capcom announcing, here's a new Mega Man game that you've all been waiting for years. Ah, psych, you fucking thought, scrub.
I just want to see you try and justify like your choice of whatever the most overrated movie is. And all I have to say is, but what about Borat? And just watch you rethink your entire thought process. I've got the trailer for Borat playing on this IMDb page when I'm looking at Brian De Palma's back catalogue. It's I've started watching the Borat movie again and again and again, and I'm just not getting through it.
I think I watched the first one years ago, back in high school, but the only clip that I've seen of the second one is when he does the he does the speech at a Trump rally, and they all start trying to break the doors down his trailer, and he's doing a character. Then, as soon as he gets into I think it's an ambulance or something he jumps into, he immediately drops character because you can hear Sacha Baron Cohen's English accent coming out. Just drive, fucking drive. I don't want to be here anymore. If that's what the film's going to be like, I'm just going to avoid this one.
No, it was the intro for it's pretty good. They did a good job of explaining why Borat hasn't been around for the last 10 years. And then explaining that even though he hasn't been around for the last 10 years, he's still famous in America. So when he shows up as Borat, there's people recognizing him. So he does have to adopt more costumes and more characters to get by in everyday life. But he does run into some people. It seems a lot more staged than the first one. I think the first one could generally have been all guerrilla filmmaking. And just saying, we're doing a documentary with a journalist from Kazakhstan who's explaining the American experience, that could actually be the setup for them filming a lot of their stuff. But with this one, they've clearly had to put things together and stitch things together for to make the narrative flow, and it's not working as well as the last one did.
Yeah, I think with the first one, not many people in America knew who the hell Sacha Baron Cohen was. There was probably a handful because there was episodes in America, but I think they could get away with just filming shit on the fly. Now everyone knows who the fuck that guy is.
Yeah, and I think it would have been better if he'd been producing someone else doing the same shtick. Like if he had decided to just find the next Borat and then do that. But I guess you can't really sell that, and I reckon he's probably tried to do that with previous shows and stuff. And he said, "Look, I'll executive produce it. I'll make it as funny as Borat, but I can't do it myself because everyone knows my characters."
I think that would be a good thing to do, but at the same time, you got to realize that he knows he's got a certain bit of celebrity about him. So if he goes too far, he can just say, "Look, it's me. Calm down." Right? He can probably diffuse that situation. Can you imagine a relative newbie coming into that role, just being the new Borat, and all of a sudden, say, "Oh, I'm a Sacha Baron Cohen's understudy." He'd be like, "Yeah, sure. What the fuck ever." Bang. That guy goes.
Yeah. And actually, to be fair, with his skill at this character, at being able to read scenes and improvise off of what's going on, I generally don't think there's that many who could do it as well as him.
Nah, not many.
Maybe even if you see the guys who are professional improvised guys, whose line is it anyway? I think they'd struggle.
Yeah, probably.
All right, we'll go straight to the showstopper then. So, every now and again, something really strange crosses the desk, and this only happened yesterday afternoon, just before we started streaming, and I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about melanotan. So, melanotan or melanotan, depending on how you pronounce it, is a vitamin or a supplement that's sold illegally through various places. And it's illegal because no one has been willing to verify that it actually works, and no one has any particular interest in selling it outside of people who want to make themselves tanned. So, quick note, by the way, melanotan is not the same as melatonin, which is a drug used to encourage sleep. It is slightly different. The spelling is just melanotan, and this was originally just kind of like a lab-made chemical. They were trying to use it to treat skin conditions. And then they started finding the weird side effects that it had, including, for some reason, it helps with erectile dysfunction in men. Only in certain cases, though. But it was originally used for a bunch of skin conditions as a way to just try and improve the quality of the skin. And a side effect it had was that it would make you tan, for some reason. It would actively encourage tanning in the area. And it would actually just spread throughout the body and encourage an overall improvement in tanning. The argument then became that it should be used to encourage tanning with the use of tanning beds at lower time exposures. So rather than going for, say, 15 minutes a day, you could go in for 2 minutes if you're injecting yourself with melanotan. Only thing is, it never really cleared any drug approval boards anywhere in the world. And it's just
not approved by any medical regulatory board, but they just died. They thought, fuck it, who needs that?
Yeah. Only thing is, as soon as you tell people, hey, you can get a quick and easy tan, people start to really flock to it. It's a really weird thing. And people have been taking it, despite the fact that it's been regarded as being possibly unsafe when being used as a shot, because it has to be injected directly under the skin. It can cause nausea, stomach cramps, a decreased appetite, flushing, which is like the rush of blood to the skin and then back again. Tiredness, yawning, darkened skin is put down as one of the side effects, and I was like, that's why I want it. And then spontaneous erections of the penis, and as well as some other side effects. This is at the point where, like, when you find people who are using it, it's almost always in bodybuilding communities, people who want to naturally tanned and athletic and fit without actually putting in the work of going outside. So it's quite popular there. And everyone has the same stories of the horrific stomach cramps and the nausea, to the point of being unable to eat food for days on end during like the start of a cycle. The idea is that you would take a very small amount, like 25 milligrams, and just build and build and build and build to the point of taking in like a whole 2 milliliters in some cases, but at that point you'll be pretty severely tanned. And for the most part, it's just people who want a certain look and a certain aesthetic. That was until I found Nuka Zeus. Nuka Zeus is a black man who has been injecting himself with melanotan because he was born a white man. I shit you not, we have chemical blackface in 2020. I found this guy randomly on YouTube. Someone posted the link to something and mentioned him on a chat or on a live stream I was watching, and mentioned the fact that he's injecting himself to become black. I was like, no way. Doing some digging, and yes, you can find Nuka Zeus on YouTube documenting his transformation. Over the course of the first 50 days of his injections, he has darkened his skin dramatically, and has begun to basically believe in himself as a black man and start to portray himself as such. And it turns out he basically grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood, was considered friends with a bunch of black people, never really thought much about race until he was much older, but always just thought of himself as part of the black community, and just never saw that in himself in the mirror. So he decided to start darkening his skin with chemical injections. And yeah, the story gets unfortunately a lot worse. I won't actually go into all the details. I'd actually refer people to a YouTube personality called Pay Money Wubby. We actually have talked, or I think we've actually shared a video about him before. He's friends with Gus Johnson. But you can find his 15-minute interview with Nuka Zeus, where he goes into describing his life, describing his upbringing and what he's doing now, how people in the black community have responded to him, how he sees himself, the fact that he has Kill Whitey tattooed in his arm and Black Power tattooed on his other arm. There's a lot going on with this man's life, and I don't think all of it is entirely sane.
For someone who was genetically white.
Yeah, Kill Whiteys is a bold statement, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's he's a very interesting guy, and he's very obviously mentally unwell. I think you can find these videos as well. I think his YouTube channel is still up at the time of recording. Who knows how long that'll last, but we'll see. Yeah. A big fan of his high energy theory, in which he posits the idea that he says, I'm going to base this on the idea of water. So think about it. Humans are 70% water, right? So how many humans do we have to make before we run out of water on the planet? And I'm like, oh my God. We found a companion to your earlier story.
We found the prophet. We found the chosen.
Yeah. And his idea is, like, his prophecy, his idea is the idea that there's only a sustainable amount of energy going back to like the Big Bang. There's only so much matter in the universe, only so much energy, so much potential that can be unleashed. What happens if every time you reincarnate, because obviously you reincarnate, right? Every time you reincarnate into another body, some of your body gets split. And you find these people in real life that go around with so much more energy. It's because they're a pure energy source. They've not split and divided themselves as many times through all these different lives. And they must now be walking around with a raw energy state that doesn't exist in many people because we've become so divided and so we've split ourselves up amongst the cosmos. And I'm like, how high are you? Just on a daily basis.
I like that this guy believes that planet Earth is going to run out of water.
Well, when you're the type of person that inject yourselves to become black, that's got to be like a certain type of brain that's like, no, this, I know what the solution is, and it's to darken my skin.
Yeah.
It's
Clearly, this guy's a higher thinker than you or I can even comprehend.
I know we've been dwarfed by the galaxy brain that is Nukazus.
Yeah. Yeah, that shut me up. Show stop.
Right, so that is the show hopper for today, and as if you want to get in contact with the show, you can contact us on Twitter at Gibberpish, or you can email us gibberpishpodcast@gmail.com. You can find myself at IronLordMad on Twitter, or you can find Dom at
Dom Anderson 25.
Yep, and then I think that'll be it for a little while. I'm moving house, so we'll see how it gets along with recording the episodes, and then putting out this one. It should be the last thing you hear from us for maybe a couple of weeks. And in the meantime, stay tuned to the Twitter to find out when we go live next time. And yeah, until then, I've been Colin Graham.
If you want to keep up, sorry, just jump in before we wrap up. If you want to keep up, obviously there's the episodes on Podbean. You can get us on Spotify, iTunes, whatever other podcast app you get. I think we're on all of them. If you want to check out the stream that we did, go to the Badger and Pals Twitch channel, and you can watch me and Colin play some Left 4 Dead 2. We've got a YouTube channel, Gibberpish on YouTube. We didn't really have to fight for that username. You can watch all the shit that we put out before this run of the podcast. So yeah, there's plenty to look at before we come back in a couple of weeks with some new shit. Yeah, and I've been Dom Anderson.
I've been Colin Graham, and we've been talking Gibberpish.